Hi guys, it's that time. It's Mystery Box Day and I'm headed to the Dollar Tree. We've got some shopping to do. Sounds like Christmas magic. So I thought it'd be fun to bring you guys along for the whole process of the Mystery Box Challenge. So this time around, it is a Dollar Tree Mystery Box Challenge where you send 8 items and 2 challenge items to someone that Courtney has assigned you. Now, Courtney is creative on the cheap and she has been doing the Mystery Box Challenge forever. This time I'm sending my box to Jennifer at a little bit calm and crazy, and I'm getting my box from Whitney at Whiskey and Whit. Wonderful ladies. Whitney has a bit of a reputation when she sends her challenge items, so cross your fingers for me. Now we are at In-N-Out and you'll hear more about this at the end of the video. And we're off to Dollar Tree. So I made it to Dollar Tree. I've picked out a couple things. There's one more thing I need, so on the hunt. What do you guys think? Should I be naughty or nice to Jennifer? Just have a feeling Whitney's gonna get something from my box from this section. So I just got home and my mystery box was waiting for me, so let's open this up. I think I can. So let's see what we have. Oh, I'm hearing some jingling. On top there is a card that says Val. This is like a real Christmas card. Merry Christmas. Whitney, thank you. Val, the best of wishes to you and yours for a wonderful holiday season. Hey, happy Mystery Box Day. I hope you enjoy this box of goodies despite my, grinchy efforts. I know you'll knock it out of the park, and if you don't like the challenge items, blame Courtney. Ha! Happy crafting. Can't wait to watch Whitney. P.S. It's been a joy getting to know you and watch you on YouTube. Thanks for being such a supportive friend. Enjoy a holiday treat on me with a little coffee gift card. Thank you, Whitney. That was so sweet. Okay, let's see what Courtney is to blame for in addition to Whitney. It's not that bad yet. Okay, so first up, we've got a velvety red ribbon. I can work with this. Challenge item number 1, bells were just for drama. All right. Ooh. Challenge item number 2, Grinch item. G is for Grinch. All right, the next item is one of their solar hanging ornaments. Not the color I would have chosen. However, I'm pretty sure I can work with this. Now we've got some, ooh, I've never seen these. These are wood planks. You get 6. Great. These look familiar. Some little gingies and a pack of the wooden tag style ornaments for one of their Dollar Tree mini trees. I recently just sent this as well to Wendy. This is kind of hilarious. You guys will definitely have to go see what I sent Jennifer. And some really cute window clings in gingerbread, along with another one. All right, challenge item time. Last Christmas, I sent Whitney some bells. So this is kind of full circle. This is challenge item number 2. Oh, and it's the letter G. Ooh. Speechless. All right, challenge item number 1. For this one, it had to be automobile related? Okay. All right. Just gonna go for this one. All right. Yes. We've got a pair of possibly bunny earmuffs. I'm guessing bunny. Looking good. Oh boy. Let's get crafted. So for our first DIY, we're going to be using plastic bowls from the Dollar Tree. Now, I've never done this before. I've kind of always wanted to do it. I did pick up my own soldering iron. I've used a soldering iron, but it was my husband's. And you can use these to basically burn holes in plastic. Now, is this safe? Probably not. So if you try this, it's at your own risk. Now, I would recommend doing this in a well-ventilated area. Do not, I repeat, do not touch the tip of that thing. It is so hot. Now I went ahead, I burned holes in the bottom of 6 of the same size bowl. They're the larger ones from the Dollar Tree. Then I grabbed these smaller ones. Now I thought it'd be a great idea to measure the item I'm going to be connecting these with, which is basically a broom handle from the Dollar Tree. And yeah, this is a waste of time. Don't do this. You're going to need much larger holes, and I'll show you why here in just a second. Now, I'm also going to be using the solar hanging ornament that Whitney sent me, and I just popped off the top part, which was the solar portion. Now we're going to go outside where I'm taking my Dollar Tree broom handle and some spray paint I picked up at Ace Hardware. This one is antique gold. You can use whatever colors you want. And I've pre-cut 4 of these smaller bowls with the grooves. And now I've spray painted them. I'm going to do the same for the ornament so that they are all matching in the gold. Now, I will say the only thing not from the Dollar Tree is this container. I picked it up at a thrift store for $4.99. It had this pole in it already. I filled it with some peat gravel that I had on hand from gardening just for some weight, and it fits perfectly with the broom handle. Now that everything is dried, we're coming back inside and we're going to start attaching things. Now, I will say we're going to use some super glue. Now don't do this, not in this order anyways. The super glue actually works really well. I buy mine at the Dollar Tree. I like the gel version. It gives you a little more time to work with it, and it does hold the things together quite well, but I ran into a snafu quite quickly. So for dramatic effect, I wanted to show you guys all of these ornaments we're going to be using. I had picked these up on clearance for 90% off at IKEA last year, and I filled my bowl and then I glued it shut. Big mistake. Big. Huge. I'll show you why here in a second. Now, because I'm doing 3 of these larger bowls, I am going to use some painter's tape to create a bit of a stripe on one of them, which will be in the center of this item. So I just taped off some stripes. I'm not really good at doing this, and I didn't realize that until I had done it. I didn't measure, and they were kind of wonky. There was one area where it could have used another stripe, but because I didn't measure, anyways, once you have some stripes on your bowl, you can take it outside, you can spray paint it. I think it would have been easier to just hot glue down ribbon, but hindsight is 20/20. Now, I didn't love the gold that I ended up with, so I did brush over a different gold on top of the smaller bowls, and then I did brush over the spray painted striped bowl. And then I realized this is not going to work because I've put ornaments in the center of these bowls, and I want to string lights through this, and the holes are just not going to accommodate that. So into the kitchen we go where I can work and it isn't freezing and wet. I took a zip tie and I took the lights that I wanted to use. I just had on hand for my Christmas stuff, and I zip tied them to the top of the broom handle. Now I got a little bit crazy, and I had purchased a bunch of garland on clearance after Christmas at 90% off. I think this was like 75 cents. I added the lights at the bottom with the outlet portion. Then I put one of the bowls down, and then I strung another bowl on top, and that's how I should have done it. I can add the ornaments once I stack the bowls on the pole or the broom handle, but I did have to make bigger holes in this one that we put the stripe in, empty out all the ornaments so that I could slide it onto the broom handle and have the lights running through it. So that would be the correct order. And then you can easily, if you make the holes large enough, pop in all your ornaments. And then I just stacked a smaller bowl, adding a little bit of garland and fluffing it in between each ornament and sort of stringing the lights through it so that they are equally distributed. And I can tell you that this was a breeze. Now you can definitely secure these with the super glue as you stack them, and this would stay connected, or you can not hot glue them together and then you can unstack them for easy storage. Now I did add the ornament after it had been painted gold lastly, and that is the finished look. I love this thing. It is huge. Now, I've seen things like this at places like Costco and Sam's Club, and my neighbors have them, and they're super expensive. This one did not break the budget, and I think it looks better than theirs. Now, you wouldn't have to use ornaments to fill your clear bowls, but I think it's really pretty, and that allows the string lights to shine through. All in total, I did use 10 bowls from the Dollar Tree, 1 broom handle, and then you could always use something else on top, but I did use what Whitney sent me. Now, this is a great way to recycle and use ornaments you may have on hand that you're not using. If you have a ton that maybe are left over after you decorate inside or your tree. Now, you could also use the clear wrap that comes in a few different colors during the holidays to wrap your bowls. If you wanted a solid color, you could also spray paint them. There's a million ways you could do this. You could stack this higher if you had something taller like PVC to put down the center, or a lot shorter if you just wanted to use maybe a plunger and do 2 or 3 of these. I think this is a great budget-friendly Dollar Tree lawn ornament for Christmas. I'm in love with it. What do you think? Now it's time for our next DIY. This time around, I'm using some plastic pots from the Dollar Tree. So I have 3 of these, and since I have a new tool, I've got to use it. So I'm using that soldering iron to cut holes in the bottoms of these pots. Now you can find these usually year-round at Dollar Tree. Now these are not super thick. You wouldn't necessarily need to burn holes in the bottom. I'm pretty sure you could punch them maybe with a screwdriver or something like that. Now we're going to take our pots, and I decided to paint mine. So I'm using some paint I had picked up at Hobby Lobby, and now you could always spray paint these. You don't have to do it this way, but I decided to paint these. It was a little time consuming. There's a lot of layers needed for this look. I like the fact that these pots were already a dark color, probably a dark gray. If you had something that was lighter or maybe a color you weren't happy with, you could always spray paint them black and then brush the gold over. I think it gives a really nice look. Now I did play around with my golds, and I ended up doing them all more of a bronze color when it was all said and done. Now I didn't love the tops of these, so I had these little plastic bowls on hand from the Dollar Tree, and I decided to add a layer to the top of these to make these look more like a bell. And then once I hot glued those in place, I had to again make a hole in these little bowls, and I did use my soldering iron for this one, cutting a small hole in the top of it. Now I did take those outside. I spray painted them black. You could have spray painted them and then hot glued them on. I was just experimenting. Now I had some ornaments on hand. I spray painted those black outside, brought them inside, brushed them over with the gold so that they all sort of coordinated. Then I took out some Dollar Tree jute rope, and I cut 3 different lengths. I tied some knots on the end, and I used the knot to hot glue down to the top of the bowl. Now if I had to do it over again, I would have actually made the holes a little bigger, and I would have strung the jute rope all the way through, but I didn't, and it worked. Now I'm taking all 3 of the ends of the rope, and I am zip tying them to the bow that Whitney sent me, and just like that, I have some gorgeous oversized brass bells. Now I am going to be showing you guys how I displayed these and use them on my front door. I did want to show you that I just strung the little ornaments hanging as the clapper, I believe, of the bell with some more of that jute cord from the Dollar Tree. Now I will admit that I do want to go back and spend some time brushing the insides. They don't look bad, but there are little fingerprints around the rims, and I just think they would look better and more finished if you spray paint or paint the inside as well as the outside. I do love the layered look of the black paint. I did that on the bells I made from the Dollar Tree last year, and I think it's a gorgeous look. I'm super happy with these. I think these look great. They're a huge statement from the front of our house. It's something a little bit different for a doorway than a traditional wreath. How would you have used the bow? Now it's time for our next DIY. For this one, I'm using the tree that Whitney sent me, and I decided to use this as more of a stability item. So I just went ahead and drew a line along both sides, and my sweet dear husband, Uncle Cuckoo, went out into the garage and he cut the sides off of this tree for me so that it was more of a straight triangle. Now I have a bunch of this poster board from the Dollar Tree. It's not the strongest, which is why I decided to use this as a stability item. I used my hot glue to attach my wooden triangle to one side of my poster board. I sort of rolled it in a oblong triangle, and then I cut off the bottom, went ahead and trimmed some off of the top so there's more of a cone shape, but an oblong cone shape. And then I hot glued the edge down and rolled it around, hot glued it onto itself. So it was a nice sturdy cone. Now I'm so glad I did this. I didn't actually think this would be necessary, but once this is finished, it is quite heavy. Now it's time to add a star. So we are creating a stacked candy tree. This gives me a little bit of the old school vibes of my grandma's tree. So I took some tinsel and I decided to add that as the base to cover up the ugly bit of the black from the poster board. And then I just hot glued it around and around, layer by layer. Now, honestly, I could have used 2 whole rolls, or I could have just used it more sparsely at the top than the bottom. Didn't do a great job at equally distributing it, but it did end up covering the majority of the tree. Now it's time for the fun, and for this I picked up 2 big bags of candy from Walmart. That was the cheapest place to find it. You can buy candy at the Dollar Tree, or you can just buy it in bulk, which is what I decided to do. Now, each bag was just under $9, so this is quite a gift. I think this is a great thing to make for someone who works in an office. I think this is a great little advent. You could definitely make a smaller tree, because I'm telling you, this thing is heavy. It is sturdy because of that wooden tree down the center, and I think it would make quite the hostess gift. I love all of the colors of the foil candy wrappers. I think it is a super cute DIY. Comment down below and let me know, how would you have used the wooden Christmas tree? Now it's time to head into the kitchen for another DIY. This time around, we're going to be making a candle. I have never done this before. I'm taking a white pillar style candle from the Dollar Tree, and hopefully I'm not going to burn down my kitchen. Now, if I had to do it over again, I would have used a much deeper pot. I have this little mug from the Dollar Tree. I have some essential oils that smell wonderful like baked goods, and some coffee beans. And I want to create a sort of baked good coffee scented candle. Now, I was playing around with this, hoping to speed up the melting process, because I had it way too low initially, and I did pull out the wick. So I'm just laying it in there, and I'm going to pour a little bit of the wax in as it melts, and then I'm going to add some coffee beans. Once upon a time, when I was in nursing school in college, I was gifted a candle like this. It had coffee beans in it, and it was my favorite. It smelled amazing, helped me study through those long nights of nursing school for finals, and it's just something I've always wanted to make. So I did start by layering the wax as it melted. It did not end up staying at the bottom, but I'll show you the finished product. It's pretty cute. Now I'm going to take one of the tags that Whitney sent me. I'm going to paint it white and cover up the front of it. I'm also going to take a little gingerbread that she sent me, and I'm going to paint it brown, and then I'm just going to add it to the dried tag that I did add a little vinyl to that just says cafe. I had hoped to fit like cookie cafe on it, but it just didn't fit. Here's what the candle looked like dry. I think it is so cute with the coffee beans floating at the top. I had envisioned them at the bottom. I'm just going to snip off this wick so that it's a good little length to light. Then I'm going to take a little bit of twine, I'm going to string it through that tag, and I'm going to add it to our coffee scented baked good goodness candle. This truly does smell amazing. I'm going to gift this to someone. Now, I will tell you that I did have to burn a few extra votives to get the height of the candle I wanted. If you were going to recreate this, I would definitely use 2 of those tall candles from the Dollar Tree, because this mug is quite big and that would just make it fill up even more. I think this turned out great. Now, it's time to face the elephant in the room, which is the grater. Thanks, Whitney. Love you, girl. All right. This was a challenge, and I'm going to let you hear what I was thinking as I was processing through all of this. I just took some needle nose pliers and went for it. So if I can like cut this sucker. Warning, this is not necessary, I don't think, but I like to do things the hard way. Okay, this is what I wanted. Once I got the center metal portion of the grater sort of rolling, it was pretty easy to just use those needle nose pliers to basically roll it away from the edges. Getting it started was a little difficult. Now, is this completely necessary for what we're making? I'm not sure what to tell you, but I did go ahead and I removed the whole center, and then my husband, Uncle Cuckoo, came to the rescue again and helped me with what we're going to replace it with in the center, which is a Dollar Tree cutting board. Now, the problem is this is not cut to the right size to fit in the center, so we made a little template using some paper, and then once we had the paper template sized out and cut out, we just used that to trace over the wood, and he so sweetly cut that out for me. Once I had that piece cut out, I used some hot glue to adhere the wooden cutting board to the center. And do you see it? Do you see it? That's right, it's a pickleball paddle. I did cut out a little vinyl. I added it on so that there was no question whether or not it was a pickleball paddle with a little vinyl that I cut. I wish I was better at my Cricut. I'm not really that great at the Cricut, but I did go ahead and write out "Deck the Halls with Pickleballs." So, do you know what pickleball is? Have you played it? What would you have made with a Dollar Tree cheese grater? And more importantly, would Whitney make the naughty list if she sent you one? Now it's time for our next DIY. This time around, we're gonna let the good times roll with our wooden blocks. Remember, this has to utilize one of the challenge items and the wooden blocks and the stickers and decals. So we've got to come up with something fun. Now, I thought this was a great idea and that I would just make a wooden box, easy peasy, no problem. Would glue it together. Well, that failed and it kept falling apart. So don't do it that way. Instead, I used a few of these little wooden blocks that I had on hand from Dollar Tree as little posts or pegs or bits or ways to connect the squares of wood. So I just did that using my hot glue gun, easy peasy, and before you knew it, I had a little wooden box and decided to paint it brown. Now, I did wet down my brush real good so that it would sort of evenly coat with the paint. I know that some of this wooden stuff, if you don't sand it, doesn't translate quite well. Now the real fun begins. I took out a bunch of paper bags, little paper sacks, and I started trying to figure out a way to make little envelopes. And I did come up with a method. So basically cut a bag in half, cut off the bottom, then folded down 2 sides. I hot glued that together and then folded up the top and the bottom, and now I have these handy dandy little sacks, and you could fill them with anything you wanted. I had an advent calendar in mind for this, so I decided to take some of the window clings, and since this had to be a transportation themed DIY, I used all of the pieces of the choo-choo train. Now don't hot glue them like I did. That was a mistake. It sort of burnt into into it, little shapes. It didn't look good. So use Mod Podge. It worked so much better. Let your paint fully dry, unlike I did, and you'll see. Anyways, so I went ahead and Mod Podged down the pieces of my train. So I did the front of the choo-choo train, and then on the back I did one of the little carts of the train. And you'll see in a second how I went a little crazy and went back and just kept adding window clings and Mod Podge. And then I got this little one of the stickers that says North Pole Express choo-choo, and added that. And now it's time for all the rest of the stickers and all the rest of the window clings. I added them to the fronts of these little bags. Now I did make 12 because there are, 12 days leading up to Christmas, and there's a whole lot of fun to be had for little people in your life. You could build a snowman, make hot cocoa, decorate a tree, do something that brings them joy, watch a Christmas movie. You can write a letter to Santa. These things do not have to cost a lot of money, and it would be a whole lot of fun to look forward to opening one of these with an activity in it each day leading up to Christmas. Now, once our Mod Podge had dried, I did go in with lots of white paint to create a little bit of a snowdrift around the edges of our box. It was messy. I was not thinking ahead. I'd been crafting too long, and I just kept painting white paint, forgetting that I was rolling it onto itself. So don't do it the way I did it. Maybe hold it upright and don't get paint everywhere, but it's up to you. Now for the issue of the headband.
Why would you do this to me, Whitney? What did I ever do to you? I'm a sweet little thing, and you had to make her cut my face off. That's not very nice. You're going on a naughty list, Whitney.
Well, you heard it from the bunny. I mean, the grater didn't get her on the naughty list, but the headband definitely did. Now, I could have had a whole lot of fun with this little headband idea. I had a few ideas once I unraveled it, and I was thinking elf ears, but this has to be transportation themed, so boo! Just kidding. This actually makes the perfect little addition to our Advent choo-choo train North Pole Express themed DIY. So I just took some pipe cleaners in red and white. I twisted them to make them candy cane stripe. Then I took my hot glue gun and I started gluing them onto the headband, just winding them around and around and around and around. And I did have to go back to the Dollar Tree for more pipe cleaners because I ran out of my red ones. And this is a little addictive. Making little candy cane stripes just was too much fun. So I decided to add them to the edges of the box that also sort of covered up the gap. Now we're using the stuffing from our poor little friend Bunny to create a more realistic snow look, and just hot gluing that on top of the white paint. It was kind of gratifying to trim it with my scissors and give it a nice little trim haircut. This was probably my favorite part of this entire DIY, between wrapping the pipe cleaners to create the candy cane stripe and giving the snow a haircut. Now we've got a fun little Advent box, and we're going to hot glue on the little handle that is the headband so that we can put all of our fun little activities in the envelopes and let the good times roll. Choo-choo. Now we have a super cute, fun train or North Pole transportation Polar Express themed Advent calendar. You could fill it up with tons of little activities that are free, that include playing games and watching movies to make the season bright. And now for the twist. So this time around, it is a pay it forward twist. Courtney started this after the passing of her mom, so this is in her lovely memory. We're going to actually be paying it forward, and we're going to be paying for the car behind us here at In-N-Out. I'm so excited. I can't wait to drive away. Okay. Thank you. This is going to be a lot of fun. Tee-hee-hee. They are paying it forward. She's paying for someone. Must be someone behind her. Oh, that's awesome. We started a little, she's big. Oh, so fun. Yay. I love it. I love it so much. I hope you guys enjoyed crafting with me. Which one of these DIYs was your favorite? Comment down below and let me know. Now, I hope this inspired you to also do your own random act of kindness and pay it forward. And be sure to check out the link in the description of the playlist so you can watch what everyone created. I hope this brought you a little joy this holiday season. And from my home to yours, Merry Christmas.